Hi, good afternoon to everyone in the Facebook group with Kelly Dahlbach and the Entrepreneur Corporate Executive Sanctuary. As you all have seen, I wanted to bring on a good friend and fellow coach to talk about burnout. And it's not that any of us couldn't really talk about burnout and exhaustion and overwhelm, especially as we're coming up on the holiday season. But I truly believe and value in understanding and relating to people that have a true passion and expertise in a certain area. And so I wanted to bring on, again, a guest and true passionate expert in exhaustion, burnout, and overwhelm, being Virginia Walton, to host our training today. And what really stuck out to me about Virginia is her fun and exciting and funny personality, but also her personal story and transformation through being a corporate executive and transitioning to a business owner, and through a perspective and experience of burnout, among other things. And so one of the most powerful speaking sessions that Virginia led that really resonated with me was when she said, and she shared, did you know burnout has an ICD-10 code? And spending 15 years in healthcare and billing Medicare and Medicaid for all different types of medical equipment and medical services over my career, it is a diagnosis code that I wasn't specifically in tune to. I could resonate with it more from a personal perspective than treating someone, but it was really intriguing to me that it actually has a place in our medical categories. And so I wanted to bring on, again, an expert to share her story, learn a little bit about what exactly is burnout, know if you are nearing burnout and what to do about it to tackle these things as we head into one of the most exciting and opportune times to feel present in our calendar year. So with that, I will turn it over to Virginia and allow her to introduce herself and get started.
Well, thank you for the wonderful, warm introduction, Kelly, and for having me. I'm really excited to get to participate in your group. And it was kind of weird to hear, as you said, oh, she's an expert in burnout. I'm like, well, that kind of sucks because a lot of the reason that I'm drawn to help others in this area was because I felt it. And so I really was an expert in burnout. Kelly had mentioned I was a banking executive. I started my banking and finance career as a teller at 19 in a small community bank. I wasn't making a lot of money. And I didn't have great insight for where my career path and how to climb the corporate ladder. My parents divorced when I was little. My mom had kind of gotten pushed through the high school system, knowing that college wasn't in her future. So they just kind of shuffled her along so she could get home to take care of her sick mom. And my father didn't even finish high school. And when I finished college, my 4-year degree at 19, he was the biggest deadbeat dad in the county. So it wasn't connections and great guidance that got me from teller to senior vice president by 28 or 38. I wish it had been 28. It was really hard work and determination. And I had been instilled with an incredible work ethic, thanks to my mom. And that's how I finished college early. And I achieved a lot of things early in life, but it came at a cost. And hard work and determination is great, but it's exhausting. The downside, while it sounds awesome, yay, female executive 38. I was with the last firm I was with for 16 years. And in that time, we were 4 different companies because of 3 different acquisitions. So whereas I started at the lowest level and I worked my way up the proverbial ladder, the guys who eventually became my peers, and I was the only female SVP in my office, they went from being the executives in the top of the food chain to having layers over them every time we got acquired. So they were 10 to 15 years older than me. So they had more experience. They were guys. Every day I had to prove myself at the table. whether it was reacting to the snotty comment because they didn't like the risk management person, or just feeling that self-doubt of that, I got to prove my seat at the table. I used to be the note taker, and now I'm a voting member of this committee. So I worked hard and I got there, but I didn't do it the best way, right? I would be in the office and they would walk out. The lights would go out because I was the only one left at 9 o'clock on a Friday night in the office late. So I got to the point where I used to sit at my desk and wonder, are they going to find me in this outfit tomorrow because they came in and I dropped dead at my desk in my 30s? And that's a shitty feeling. Pardon my language. This is non-kid version. So I really took to self-development and study, and leadership development got me up the way and working on myself. And then I expanded it into how to be a better person, not just a better leader. So in the course of feeling overwhelmed and not sleeping well and not eating well, and so self-soothing with food or wine with my pizza, and being just short-tempered and snippy and having to find that balance, right? One of the guys could be a jerk and he's firm. I'm a jerk and I'm a bitch. So it drained. And I started to look for what are the signs and what are the relief. So the top 5 signs of burnout are disengagement. You just don't care. And that's really easy to do in this remote world. You forget stuff. I read an article about how stress increases your forgetfulness. I think no wonder, mothers forget the names of their children when they're screaming at them, because it's from a place of stress. You're just tired. Even if you get to bed, you're not getting quality sleep. You're anxious. You get to bed, your day's running through your head, and you're not sleeping because you're replaying the day or worrying about tomorrow's to-do list. And you just start to feel like it doesn't matter. Like you just become a cynic. And I lived all of those in my corporate life. And, having grown up poor, I was chasing the proverbial dollar. I never thought I would have the income I had, and be, debt-free in my 40s. And because, man, I grew up where we paid utility bills when it was the disconnect notes. So to get to a point where I had a comfortable income was huge for me. And that created such a level of security. Being able to walk away from it to start my own practice, to me, is a great example of how you can change your mindset when you start and soothe your anxiety. Because 20 years ago, all things being equal, there's no way I would have walked away from a 6-figure job. So what really kind of helped me get on this path was the upside of a big income is you can afford a little bit more luxury in life. And about a year after I got my promotion as a senior vice president, I'd also had to deal in that same year with my mom died unexpectedly and my family farm was on the verge of foreclosure. So I got through all of that. And people saying, oh my God, how did you do that? My personality was, what other choice did I have? Like, I'd love to curl up and just pull the covers over and have wine and chocolate, but we can't do that. So I took a wellness retreat, and it turned into an annual event for me. I going to a wellness resort, and this isn't, listen, I'm not some tree hugger. I don't want to go camp and do yoga in the dirt and not shower. This was a luxury resort, but they also had a lot of lectures. And so you were hearing on nutrition and skincare and sleep and wellness from experts, as well as eating great quality food and dessert, because life is short. Dessert should be important, as well as, getting time for yoga and meditation and, cardio workouts to release it, So one of the things I walked away with from one of these trips was these 8 tips. As a matter of fact, I was a furious note taker as I would sit in these lectures, right? Like I came home with pages of stuff. And I actually wrote out this list and I put it on my refrigerator to remind me. So this isn't something that I just created or that I read on the internet and I'm repackaging. I learned these from experts. I applied them, and I've continued to enhance it as I've studied self-development and burnout. You see the themes come across in all the sources. So it really rings true. So especially as we start to get into the chaos of the holidays, and if you're corporate, you've got year-end sales goals, volume goals, performance planning, goal setting, budgeting, and the holidays. So yay, that. And this year we also get still pandemic and supply chain issues to add to the fun. So these are tips you should do all year. But if you don't have them, let's start getting them in place until you really get into the year-end crunch and holidays. You got to exercise, right? It's not just physical wellness, but it helps you clear your mind. I work out with a heart rate monitor. Again, what I learned at my wellness retreat. And I found when I stopped focusing on my heart rate and start thinking about my to-do list, my heart rate drops. So I'm being inefficient with my workout again. So it really helps you if you use some sort of goal tool, right? Because I'm thinking Kelly's audience are all very goal-oriented people, to keep you focused so you're getting the most out of it. And it does help relieve your stress, especially if you had a day. I used to love my workout. And when we started working from home, it was great when somebody pissed me off, I'd go hit the elliptical and I got a great workout. Even I was planning a community event and my mayor annoyed me. And I'm like, boom, whew, I feel better. And it doesn't have to be a lot. Even if it's only 20 minutes, just do it. Something is better than not. Like if you want to do an hour, but you can't plan an hour in your schedule, get 20 or 30 minutes. Do 20 minutes of some sort of stress relieving activity. Now, what works for me may not work for Kelly, may not work for Karen. It's different, right? If you told me to knit, that would stress me out, but maybe that's very relaxing for you. You know, maybe it's why I watch sitcoms because they just chill me out. I worked with an executive for her dirty little secret was she watched The Real Housewives. Hey, so whatever it is, find what works for you. You know, if it's a walk, if it's a podcast that's humorous and not talking about the economy, do whatever that kind of chills you out. You gotta sleep. You know, it's the first thing we sacrifice, right? Business trips, I get up at 3 a.m. because I wanted the 6 a.m. flight. Yeah, that's dopey. You gotta get enough sleep. Get quality sleep. Start learning how to leave your phone in another room. Turn off the TV, you know. I know it's easier said than done. I still sleep with my phone charging next to me, but I turn off the notifications. Or if I forget, I've trained myself to like, no, I'm comfy, don't move. So really make sure you're getting sleep. Years ago, I met with a nutritionist and I was working out 6 times a week. I was eating small meals, healthy meals, and my weight wasn't moving. So she's like, log your activity, log your food, log your sleep. I'm like, okay. First thing she looked at, she goes, you don't get enough sleep. Your weight's not going to move. I'm like, what? I go, but to get in my workout, I got to get up at 4:30 in the morning. She's like, I don't know what to tell you, but you got to change it. So I found ways to get myself to bed earlier. I meal prep on the weekends, and that's something I still do, even though I don't have a corporate job anymore. I plan my outfits out. You know, when I put laundry away, I pick out what I'm going to wear for the week. So it's one less thing to worry about every day. There's all kinds of little things you can find to give yourself some time so you can get to bed earlier. You know, get off social media. It's really not helpful. Eat breakfast. And I don't mean like a Pop-Tart. Eat real quality food, not processed food. And, you know, it's funny, we're guilty, right, of running, oh, I'll just get a bagel, a donut, a muffin when I stop for coffee. Yet none of us, if you commute by car, you wouldn't dare leave without gas in the car. Yet we'll try to run our bodies and be productive. And we are way more complicated than our cars, even with all the bells and whistles they have now that they park themselves. But here we try to start our day without any fuel. So make sure you have a quality breakfast, you know, and you should always, this was one of the things, like I said, I went to a wellness resort. You're probably thinking, oh my God, she ate kale and smoothies for the entire stay. No, we ate great food. Like, and there was steak and dessert, but it wasn't processed food. You know, we get into a habit of what's quick and easy. And so that's like putting crappy gas in your car. And if you've got a nice car, which you probably do because you're successful, you wouldn't dare put crappy gas in it. Find time to return to center, whatever brings you back to focus on what's important. Maybe it's not meditation. I know some people, they can't do it, they can't do yoga because they giggle. So, you know, I love that Kelly has all these hammocks in her namaste room. It looks like a great place to sit and come to center. I live on a small river near the Delaware. Just sitting and listening to the water reminds me, hey, this is my little piece of heaven, you know, or sitting in my little corner where I read and meditate. Whatever works for you, do it every day. So you're regrounded on what's important. And you're not caught up into checking Amazon, like, where's my Christmas order? Where's my holiday order? Relax. Stressing over it isn't going to get it done. It's not going to make it easier to plan the meal or, you know, set the table. And maybe that's what it does. Maybe setting a beautiful table for the holidays brings you joy. Okay, then plan it. So everybody's different. Your joy is not my joy. Lean on your support system when you get crazy. If you don't, you obviously have one. You have Kelly at minimum, and I'm sure you have others, but lean on them, right? When you're struggling at work, right? You bring the team together, you go to a committee we used to have what's called early and often. Hey, we got a problem. Let's vet this out quickly. Find your support system and lean on them when you need them. And then, hey, when they need you, you'll be there for them. But if you don't, you're going to be exhausted and then you can't help them either, or your team, or your family, or whoever. Get organized, right? Listen, I am neurotic about my calendar. I would volunteer to schedule all of our committee meetings for the whole year just so it was on my calendar. And I did that at work, right? And I knew deadlines and I was on time for meetings and I took copious notes, but my desk at home looked like a hot mess. I didn't plan in personal time. I didn't put it on my calendar to, you know, the personal things I put on my calendar were the commitments that I had to other people. I coached junior field hockey. So during the hockey season, my calendar was blocked for the time I needed so I could get to practice because there were 15 kids standing in a field and their parents were expecting an adult. I didn't block the time for me other than my annual trip. A little funny story, right? Because I bet you can relate. I bet you all have a device other than just the one you're maybe watching this on, right? You've got a tablet or a phone nearby or a computer if you're on one of those. The resort I picked to go to my wellness retreat had a policy that restricted your wireless device activity. That's why I picked it. Because I spent most of my career in risk management. I follow the rules. I wrote policy. I made people follow the rules. So I could follow the rule, but self-impose and just say, oh, I'll turn my phone off, I couldn't do, right? It's really hard. We've become so attached to them. I mean, who takes the phone to the bathroom, right? You know, because somebody might text you. So, you know what? And it taught me, I can leave my phone on. I can turn it off for time. It's okay. And so I remember telling my HR partner when I got back from my first one, I didn't take my laptop. I told all my executives, my peers, I am not available. My team, I said, you can text me if you need me, but realize they'll probably be delayed in responding. But for you guys, I'm next. And none of them did, thank God. I got home, I had not checked. I even took a day to do laundry and stuff. And I didn't check. First day back, I had over 300 emails. I'm like, holy crap. I had 80-90% of them cleared by the end of the day because I took the time to recharge and refresh. Had I not, I'd probably still be reading those emails, and this was 7 years ago. So I realize not everybody can plan a wellness retreat, for a week in November between Christmas and Thanksgiving and chill out and, but you can find 10 minutes every day. I guarantee you can find 10 minutes that you wasted on something that I get sucked into Facebook articles. Oh, I want to see why that picture is. I'm like, wow, 25 minutes later, I've gained nothing in my life. So if you do that, because that's only going to add to your stress, right? And we're coming into a stressful time of year. So if you're not doing this, start now. Even if you only do a few, you're going to be better. Progress, not perfection. So. Anything else, Kelly, you wanted me to share?
No, thank you. There were a few points that resonated with me that I would just love to just comment on, especially as I know that, we set up these Facebook groups and, these programs to be vulnerable with each other and empower that. Because if you're part of these communities and simply scrolling past the life coach is talking about, self-development or burnout and go to the, article or stressed out mom, you're not doing yourself any favor. So I think it's so important that we level each other up and lift each other up and learn from each other. And I just appreciate your vulnerability to share your story and for others to, do the same. Because if you picked up something from Virginia's story, she and I and everyone in this group would pick up something from yours. And really what resonated is I'm a registered dietitian. I always say I'm kind of in remission. And so like from that career, but it's part of who I am. And what really resonated to me was when you said, you don't put crappy gas in your car. And so that was something that really hit home. And also with small kids, it's what do I want their future life to be like? Because right now I, decide and I choose the meals for them. So that is one intention that I took strongly to, other than, really lean on our support system, because between everyone in this group and the individuals here today with us live and on the recording, I know that and I feel that, because if we didn't have that similar intention, we wouldn't have come into each other's paths. I truly believe that. And so allow yourself to follow the light to each other's paths and to lift each other up. I know it can be, not the norm, as you say, but it is becoming the new norm. And as you come to, the end of the year and some quiet time for reflection with Virginia's excellent tips to clear some space for yourself to gain clarity. Please know that nothing that happens in life is a coincidence. It is a greater plan. And so if the world around you is changing and you're holding on to something that is so strong in resistance, it's very likely that you need to let go. But letting go isn't easy. And so one of the things I'm going to continue to talk about is how to let go and how to be okay with change. Because look at the world around us. School has changed. Careers have gone on their side. Lifestyles have changed. Our entire grocery shopping, retail, supply chain, everything in the world is changing. And if you are holding on to a career that you had a year ago or 2 years ago, saying, oh my God, it's not like it used to be. Well, no shit. It's not supposed to be. So embrace the opportunity to change and grow. And the time is now. Intuitively in my heart, I know that the time is now to change. And if this resonates with you, please reach out. I'm here just to chat and support Virginia as well. She's on Facebook. Feel free to connect with her and have any follow-up discussion. She's in the group as well. So thank you, Virginia. Thank you for those that joined live and for those that will be watching in the replay.
Thank you again for having me, Kelly. It was an honor.
Absolutely. Bye.